Hey everyone, welcome back to Real and Raw. I hope all of you have been having a good week, and if not, I'm really sorry to hear that, and I hope that the upcoming week will treat you better. So today's topic is going to be about my use with Prozac. Okay, Prozac is an antidepressant. Some of us have heard of the movie called Prozac Nation, for example, starring Christina Ricci. I've only ever heard of the movie. I have yet to see it. That's on my to do list. But Prozac has been commonly known to be uh, an antidepressant throughout the years. So, the reason why I started Prozac is because I was diagnosed twice by two different therapists that I have post traumatic stress disorder. And that was due to being in an abusive relationship. So specifically, it was psychologically slash emotionally abusive by someone that had untreated post-traumatic stress disorder. And here I am today, not ever thinking that I was going to have PTSD, but it is what it is at this point. Deal with the you deal with the hits you were given, so to speak, and you treat your wounds as best you can. So, anyway, I started to notice that my symptoms were becoming progressively worse, and I was doing the work in therapy. I was going to group therapy sessions alongside individual therapy sessions, and I don't know what the hell was going on, but I felt myself spiraling into some hellish realm, if you will. So I felt like I needed medical intervention. I got a hold of my health insurer and asked if I could talk to, a psychiatrist, and got linked up with a professional, and I was given the lowest dose of Prozac, which is considered 10 milligrams. And at first, I felt the emotional blunting. This was like the first 1 to 2 days because I hadn't been on antidepressants for a number of years. And I certainly never tried Prozac before. I've tried Zoloft, I've tried Celexa, I've tried, gosh, what was the other one? It starts with an L, I think, for the Lexapro. There's the other one. So I've tried three different ones. And the one that I had the most success with in the past was Celexa. But then I noticed with Celexa, it was interfering with my ability to orgasm. It was taking longer, if not just annoyingly, delayed. So, wasn't happy about that and decided to wean myself off of it again, being on the lowest dose anyway. It wasn't like I was on 50 plus milligrams. Going back to the topic, which is Prozac use, I've been on it for no more than 6 months, and I've certainly noticed an improvement in symptoms, um, specifically reducing my fear level. So, my fear responses were out of control with PTSD. I mean, I was going into full blown paranoia, which didn't have any basis in reality. However, because of the trauma, my body was in fight or flight mode. It was scared because I was so traumatized from that past relationship. So that was just, I couldn't even date. I couldn't even date. Men were scary to me. Again, not based in reality because they hadn't necessarily shown me a reason to be scared. But again, your body doesn't forget. It's responding as if it's still, when you have PTSD, as if the threat is still there. So I'm having grace with myself and compassion. And there was a point in my life where I was very, very angry with how I was becoming. I didn't like it. Of course, who would like having this? It's certainly not an enjoyable experience. I'll leave it at that. But at first, it was the emotional blunting. Then afterwards, I was leveling out. I felt happier. I felt less fear. I felt more confident. I felt more motivated to do the things I wanted to do. I was able to focus better, concentrate better. I didn't feel as much brain fog. It certainly reduced. I mean, tremendous benefits versus having not been on it, because I was just, again, spiraling into some dimension of hell, if you will. One of the interesting things, though, is, again, we could attribute this as emotional blunting, but feeling like my empathy's there, but I felt like, well, maybe I could blame the PTSD, but I just felt a little bit more cold. And I don't mean cold in the physical sense, I mean like in the emotional sense, like colder, like more brutal, again, less fearful. And this ties into this fascination that I've had recently of psychopaths. You know, psychopaths, they don't necessarily fear like a normal person does, and they don't feel anxiety like a normal person would. It's like absent. You know, I'm not saying they don't feel anything, but like there's no fear. It's quite amazing how they function. Again, they don't have to be serial killers, and this is a whole nother topic, but anyways, I just had a fascination with how fearless they seem to be and how unempathetic they were. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I mean, you've got CEOs out there that are psychopaths. You've got surgeons out there that are psychopaths, people in law enforcement that are psychopaths, people that are criminals that are psychopaths, you know, like some fucking hitman that won't think twice about killing someone. They don't even flinch. So anyways, I kind of felt a little bit more in alignment with that type of person since being on Prozac. And let me know if you've also felt this way, or if this has come across your mind, you know, feeling like, wow, like I just don't feel like I used to. I feel more numb. Well, in this case, it would be emotional blunting. Like I don't feel a lot like I used to. Like I feel like I can just get through shit unapologetically versus I used to be paranoid before. I mean, what a what a change. I mean, I had debated if I should go up higher, but I'm like, well, maybe that might have adverse effects, and I don't want to be like, I'm not saying Prozac is linked to psychopathy. I'm not saying that, but I didn't want to risk feeling like I was becoming more of that type of person if I were to increase the dose. There's no telling what kind of reaction I'm going to have. I just need to try it and then see what kind of reaction that I have. We can go through the list of possible reactions. Of course, there's a list. Okay, you can look it up. You can see it on the pamphlet that you get with the medication. But because I'm so sensitive to medications, and what, I'm 101 pounds, like I'm a little person, 5 foot nothing, and I'm just sensitive to chemical things in general, like I'm not surprised that this easily had an effect on me, you know, and that's the lowest dose. So without stretching this audio slash video too long, I do want to know if any of you resonate with what I've said. Have you, or are you currently on Prozac and you notice that it's easier for you to do things? You're less fearful, you're more brutal, or you're more blunt, or less apologetic. Again, you're just saying shit, almost like you're more brave and courageous, and maybe you weren't before. Like me, I wasn't. I was a big wiener. I am, to some extent, still fearful when it comes to certain things. I still have my PTSD triggers, right? But man, has Prozac made it so much more manageable to live with this mental health challenge. Um, I mean, my goodness, I just felt like I didn't want to live. You know, in the past, having not been on the medication, I just felt like I didn't want to continue on. I didn't see the point. I was losing the sense of meaning to be ALIVE. You know what I mean? Without going into too much controversy here with the wordage, especially putting this up on YouTube. I'm not trying to promote anything. I'm just merely talking about my experience with Prozac. That's what I've noticed thus far. Again, I've been on it for a couple months, and what a dramatic, beautiful change it's instilled in me from a biological, psychobiological perspective, you know. Um, yeah, so yeah, put in the comments, guys, what has your experience been with Prozac? What are the negative effects? What are the positive effects? Where do you see yourself going into the future if you continue to take this? Are you trying to come off of it? I would love to know and connect with you guys when it comes to this topic. Thanks for listening, and you guys can catch me in the next video. Take care.